we can continue to trot out names like DeAndre Hopkins and Amari Cooper and Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen and all the names that would make sense logically. They all do in some sort of way if those teams decide to make any deals and move on from players. But it's just not that simple.
What is up, Chiefs Kingdom? Happy Wednesday. I'm Hayley Lewis, and this is Chiefs News Daily. Only 2 undefeated teams remain in the NFL. The Chiefs are the lone AFC team with a perfect record. They're going to look to keep things rolling this coming Monday against the Saints with some major injury hits on the offense. We're going to bring you the latest surrounding Rashee Rice and his injury, as well as who might replace his production, and a preview of Monday Night Football and the matchup. But first, give us a like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. And let's get into it. Well, no news is good news, right? After Chiefs wide receiver Rashee Rice left the field on a cart this past Sunday, there's been limited information about the wideout's knee injury. Now, the latest update came on Monday via ESPN's Adam Schefter, who shared that after further testing on Rashee Rice's knee, there remains uncertainty over the extent of his injury per sources. After consulting with the team doctors and receiving second opinions, more tests are required to determine the full extent of Rice's injury and his recovery timeline. No answers are expected until next week. Now, on Monday, head coach Andy Reid gave reporters minimum answers as well, but he did say that Rice would not be available this coming week. Now, Rice is responsible for 40% of all the Chiefs' receiving yards through 3 weeks, so why the long wait to know whether or not their top production is going to be worst-case scenario or maybe back this season? Well, Dr. Jesse Morse, a sports medicine physician that covers NFL injuries on Twitter, shares his perspective on why things might be taking so long. It is possible there is so much swelling in his knee that you can't clearly identify a complete versus partial injury to a ligament like an ACL or a PCL. Yes, sometimes we have to wait several days for the swelling to reduce and repeat imaging. Maybe there's an unstable piece of meniscus in the posterior aspect of the knee, and the question is whether or not removal versus repair is the correct decision, so 4 weeks versus season ending. My guess is that the Chiefs and second opinions are all trying to get on the same page. As a sports medicine physician who treats elite athletes, sometimes Zoom/telemedicine is inappropriate. If I'm going to be 100% confident in my diagnosis and recommendation, then I need to physically see the patient and examine them. So that means that Rice had to physically travel from LA, which is where the game was, to Kansas City, then to wherever. Now, sometimes we are adamant about specific imaging that also needs to be coordinated. These things take time. I know when I usually hear diagnoses and treatment plans within 1 to 2 days after the game, but, quote, regular medicine doesn't always work at that speed. The important thing is to make sure the correct diagnosis and treatment plan is in the best interest of Rice. So measure twice, cut once. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't hear any specifics until after week 5. The Chiefs already know that he's likely out through their bye week at the minimum. So with Rice's future unknown, do the Chiefs make a trade? The last 2 years in a row, General Manager Brett Veach has made a trade for a wide receiver before the deadline in McCole Hardman and Kadarius Toney. So does he make it 3 in a row? Who's even available? Well, let's get one name out of the way who is not expected to come to Kansas City, no matter how badly Kansas City fans want him. Schefter shared via Twitter, ESPN sources, Raiders have informed other teams that they would consider trading wide receiver Davante Adams for a package that would include a second-round pick and additional compensation. Schefter quickly afterwards squashed Chiefs Kingdom's hopes by reminding fans that Davante Adams is not expected to come to Kansas City. And while the Jets and the Saints have interest in Adams, there are other teams that remain interested in the Raiders wide receiver as well. Despite any speculation, the team that is not expected to be an option is Kansas City per sources. Womp womp. I know. What could be, but it just sounds like it ain't gonna happen. So who could possibly come to Kansas City? Let's get to that point. Here are what a few experts are saying. Jacob Robinson with The Athletic says, names I'm keeping an eye on: Amari Cooper from the Browns, T. Higgins from the Bengals, George Pickens, Steelers, Christian Kirk with the Jaguars, and DeAndre Hopkins with the Titans. Now, I've heard a few of those as well. He also said, as more teams start to consider selling off assets, this list could get longer. Now, Bleacher Report even speculated Tyreek Hill could land on the list. So NBC Sports' Matthew Berry suggested that the Dolphins should opt to trade Hill back to his original team after falling to 1-3 on the year. Now, Bleacher Report continued to say in the article that Chiefs general manager Brett Veach would have to execute some cap wizardry to fit the receiver's massive salary back on the books, but the move might be well worth it if it results in the league's first ever back-to-back-to-back Super Bowl champions. It sounds very far-fetched, but who knows? Sports Illustrated also shared that according to ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Panthers could be of assistance. This was on a recent appearance on the Pat McAfee show. Schefter tabbed Panthers receiver Deontay Johnson and Adam Thielen as potential trade targets for the Chiefs. Take a listen.
Adam Thielen, Deontay Johnson. Deontay Johnson's in the last year of his contract. He's going to be leaving Carolina after this year anyway. If they lose a few more games, why would you not be open to the idea of moving him if you got the right offer before the deadline? And I think the same would be true of Adam Thielen, a veteran who you probably would want to do right by. If you're 1-6 at the trade deadline, if you're 2-7, whatever it may be, they push back the trade deadline a week. I think it's November 3rd this year, or whatever that may be.
So what do you think about these names? Which one stands out to you? Drop in the comments below. Who do you think that the Chiefs should go after or maybe target?
Whenever you discover something new, the first thing you want to do is share it with your friends so they can experience it too. That's kind of what it feels like when you discover that Mint Mobile offers premium wireless service for just $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. It's such an awesome deal, there's no way you can keep it to yourself. No more negotiating with big wireless companies for overpriced plans, and no more hidden fees with Mint Mobile. Mint Mobile is here to rescue you and your friends with premium wireless plans starting at just $15 a month. And if you're worried about keeping your own phone and keeping your contacts, you can bring all of that along when you switch to Mint Mobile. So ditch overpriced wireless with Mint Mobile's deal and get 3 months of premium wireless service for just $15 a month. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/KCSNCND. That's mintmobile.com/KCSNCND. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/KCSNCND. $45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details.
So Kansas City looks to keep their undefeated record perfect this week with another primetime matchup. The Chiefs are opening up as the 5-point favorite as of now for their Monday Night Football game hosting the New Orleans Saints. Now, the Saints are trying to avoid a 3-game losing streak after dropping their last 2 to the Eagles and then the Falcons. Now, the Chiefs are 7-5 all-time against New Orleans, with their last meeting happening during the 2020 regular season. Bob Rose with Sports Illustrated shares that Patrick Mahomes has faced the Dennis Allen New Orleans Saints defense just once on December 20th, Week 15 of the 2020 season. The Saints hosted the Chiefs. Now, this was before Allen was the Saints head coach. He was the D coordinator at this time. New Orleans came into that contest with a 10-3 record. Kansas City, the defending Super Bowl champs, entered with a 12-1 mark. Now, this game was a showdown between Mahomes and the legendary Saints QB Drew Brees. A Chiefs field goal, of course, sealed the deal for Kansas City. 32-29, they got the win. Brees and Mahomes combined, though, for 488 passing yards, 6 touchdowns through the air without an interception. Quite the showdown. Now, the Saints have a new OC this season as well. The New Orleans Saints hired Clint Kubiak as their offensive coordinator for the 2024 season. Last year, he was the passing game coordinator for the 49ers, which Kansas City beat in the Super Bowl. Now, the year before that, he was also the passing game coordinator and QB coach for the Denver Broncos, which Kansas City beat twice in the 2022 season. During his time as a coach in Minnesota from 2019 to 2021, KC also beat the Vikings the lone time that they faced in 2019. Before that, he was an offensive assistant in Denver from 2016 to 2018, who Kansas City beat during Week 17 with Patrick Mahomes as their starter. Basically, the OC has never won a game when Patrick Mahomes was on the other sideline as a starting QB. Well, that's not the only familiar thing about this Saints team. New Orleans also has 4 former Chiefs that are on their 53-man roster. Safety Tyrann Mathieu, linebacker Willie Gay Jr., nose tackle Colin Saunders, and defensive end Tano Passanio. Now, Bob Rose also shares that Saints quarterback Derek Carr has faced Mahomes and the Chiefs twice a year when he was the Raiders QB. Carr's team are 1-8 against the Chiefs over that span. Not great. Overall, Carr is 3-14 against the Chiefs all time, last time facing Kansas City in the 2022 season with Las Vegas. Alrighty, folks, that does it for another episode of Chiefs News Daily. As always, we'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, make sure you like and subscribe right here on the KCSN YouTube channel. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We'll see you on Thursday.